Next. Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Bruno.
Hi, I'm Hollis Silverman.
And today we're going to talk about the Marchman Act. The Marchman Act was passed in 1993, and it was based on the premise that people with substance abuse disorders needed to be involuntary or voluntarily committed for a period of time if their life got so out of hand that their substance abuse was at risk of causing them to harm themselves or possibly others, and since it's adults, maybe their children and extended family. What it entails is the first process is that somebody that the individual knows, a lawyer, a doctor, a family member, it can't be somebody miscellaneous, it can't be a disgruntled boss, but someone that they know intimately, asks the court to bring the individual forward for an evaluation. If the court deems that the individual is at risk, they will make the individual get an assessment within 5 business days. After 5 business days, if the individual has not been able to get an assessment from a qualified professional like an MCAT or another CAP or a PsyD, they get an extra 7 days to complete the assessment. At that time, all parties present themselves to the judge, and the judge will decide if the individual has to be civilly committed for 60 days into inpatient treatment. Now, the individual at this time is very irate and upset and mad that their freedom is being taken away from them. But remember, it's at this point the individual's life has become so erratic and in disarray that they need to be committed. It's very similar to a Baker Act, but much longer because we're talking about extinguishing substance abuse. We're not talking about suicidal ideation that comes in and out and can be passive or active any moment of the day. So after 60 days, the individual will then present himself again to the judge. At this point, the person that brought forth the Marchman Act can ask for it to be extended for another 60 days. That's an entire 120 days that an individual can be committed for treatment. Now, after the 120 days, there are no more extensions. So that individual is then released into the community. Now, here's the caveat. If the individual tells the judge, I don't want to go into treatment, I don't think I need treatment, and the judge says, I think you do need treatment and I am commanding you to seek treatment, and that individual says, I am not going, then the individual actually goes to jail. So there's only 2 choices for the individual at this point, which anyone who has dealt with somebody who has a severe addiction understands that they need to be placed in that kind of situation in order for them to really take a hard look at themselves and realize that their substance abuse is causing irrevocable damage to their lives and the lives around them. And so most of them end up going into treatment. However, there are those that will then have this revolving door, and this is a lot, creates a lot of fear in the person invoking the Marchman Act. They don't want to see their loved one go to jail, but remember, if you're getting to the point where you need to have a Marchman Act, you'd rather have your loved one in jail than dead, and that really is when you would invoke the Marchman Act, is when you fear for the life and safety of your loved one.
Absolutely. And with the Marchman Act, if somebody's coming from even out of state, because this is a Florida statute, so I think once that they come into Florida, they can ask for and get the Marchman Act.
And they have them in many states, but not in all states.
Exactly. And there's a process. So obviously 30 days of inpatient treatment probably isn't going to be as helpful to somebody as opposed to 120 days in inpatient treatment, as well as throughout a step-down program. So if an individual with a substance abuse issue goes into inpatient treatment and then goes to a partial hospitalization program, which is also known as the PHP,
right,
and then an intensive outpatient program, which is an intensive outpatient program, that 120 days can be completely and utterly helpful for somebody with a substance abuse issue. It can help their social functioning, their occupational functioning, their emotional, mental, physical well-being in every way. 120 days can really save somebody's life and also help all the family members that are involved with that individual, because as we know, in substance abuse, not only does it just affect that individual, but it also affects everybody around that individual.
And when you're dealing with someone with a substance abuse problem, please just take a deep breath. Realize that this is a chronic disorder and that they may go in and out of treatment. Don't give up on them. And eventually, with a little luck and a little hard work, they'll figure it out and they'll return to the old version of who they were will return to and be a lot happier and healthier.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. I'm Dr. Julie Bruno.
I'm Hollis Silverman. Stay tuned for more information.
Goodbye.
Bye.